Thank you. Sherry, thanks for the presentation. It's exciting to hear about working the intermodal piece, now that the warehousing is coming on board and the rails are available. That's, Jacksonville, nobody's done that better in the last decade than Jacksonville. And it's exciting for us to now have the door open to be a part of that.
You better believe it.
Yeah,
I
and
agree,
so-
100%. So
Yeah,
thank you for that.
I look forward to hearing the news.
Thank you so
more
much,
news
y'all.
on that. Thank you, ma'am.
Appreciate you.
Sherry, I'm just happy we're flipping that career source. We're moving it
Let's
from
do it.
38 to
That's
68,000.
right.
I'm
I
grateful
put
for
that
your
survey, I
support.
put it back out today, so.
Yes,
Yeah, definitely.
Ms. Mitchell's working with us for the Career Source grant that we secured, so I'm excited to see that continue to grow and have that opportunity for our workforce to be high-skilled, high-trained, ready to employ. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And your whole board, thank you for all you continue to do for
Thank you.
Nassau County.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Our next item of business is consent items. If any board member wishes to move a consent item to new business, please do so now. Does any member of the public wish to speak on a consent agenda item? I do not have a card for the consent agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the consent.
Madam Chair, I
Second?
move to approve the consent agenda.
I'd second that.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. The consent agenda passes 5-0. New business. Any member of the public may address any item under new business at this time. Time limit is 3 minutes each. Is there anyone who wishes to address any item under new business? My 3 speaker cards are strictly for non-agenda items, so I'm going to save them to the end. Tab J, the board may approve the economic development grant as presented or provided alternate terms and conditions or deny the grant request.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. What we have before us tonight is continuing on this economic development trend. The county currently has an economic development grant program that's in place. We've had an entity previously apply for that and receive it. We actually have received a new application working through Nassau County Economic Development Board. This is for a medical office in excess of 12,000 square feet. It would be located on the island, essentially creating 10 new jobs that would meet the 100% county average income. Some of those jobs actually would be up to 75,000. So as Ms. Mitchell mentioned, 55,000 is about the median, so 75 would exceed that. They are looking to do a $5 million investment in that property. So based on our current economic development grant, with them submitting the application, qualifying for it, what we're presenting tonight is the potential to move forward with them. This would be a 5-year grant program that would essentially calculated based off their property or the ad valorem taxes paid to the county. It would give them a rebate on those. It would be a 5-year term, and so it would go from 100% rebate down to 20% rebate over those 5 years. That first year, based on the high side, is excess of $38,000. The average over the 5 years would be about 49% of their taxes, and would total about $135,000, a little in excess of that. So the item really today is we have an applicant. It's an economic development grant program that would allow us to incentivize getting the new medical office in place, creating new jobs, and continuing moving forward with supporting businesses and economic development in the county. And with that, the one item, the way it's laid out in the staff report is under the grant. You're allowed to approve it as presented, which is that full grant program I mentioned, or provide alternative direction or other directions as you'd see.
Madam Chair, I move to approve tab J.
Second, Madam Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Gray. Is this a call the roll or all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Tab K, authorize the chair to sign the real property purchase and sale agreement and First Amendment with Cowleys on the River Corporate, contract number CM 4001 and CM 4001-A1 for the purchase of 134-acre riverfront parcel at 181040 Autumn Road for the purchase price of $2,420,000 and authorize the county manager to sign any closing documents.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. For the record, Beth Moore, Assistant County Attorney. The item that you have before you is a formal vote on a topic of discussion from 2 weeks ago. You heard it as a county manager discussion item regarding the acquisition of 134 acres on the St. Mary's River. So before you is the purchase and sale agreement and a First Amendment. First Amendment's the result of negotiating a lower purchase price following some due diligence and the 2 appraisals that were commissioned for the property. If this item is approved, we will move forward to closing, which would likely be this Friday, January 30th. So because of that shorter turnaround, we've also asked that you authorize the county manager to sign the closing documents, which will likely just consist of essentially a closing or settlement statement. So we're here for any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Questions? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny tab K.
Move to approve tab K.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. We are going to be property, all taxpayers are going to be the owners of 134 acres of Callie's on the River. So what a celebratory night we're having. Okay. Next is legislative public hearings. We are going to read tab L and R. County Attorney to read the procedures as follows for the legislative hearing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated, tabs L through N are legislative items. These procedures are in place to give all who wish to speak for or against an item an opportunity to do so. Those persons wishing to speak in favor of or against the item being considered will have 3 minutes to address the board. Speakers should not engage in personal attacks on other speakers, staff, or board members. Speakers must begin by stating their name and address for the record. Please do not be repetitive or restate the same information as other speakers. Sharing or transferring of time is not allowed. The clerk will control that time again. It is 3 minutes. Any speaker with documents as part of their presentation should present them to the deputy clerks. They do become a part of the permanent record. The meeting is being recorded, so please no applause or outburst or talking, as it does distort the recording. The board will then close the public hearing, discuss the item under consideration. You may ask questions of any speakers or staff. The board will then deliberate and vote on the item before them. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Tab L, consider updates to the Tourist Development Tax Ordinance to dissolve the current trade category of spending and create the proposed spending categories as set forth in the ordinances and recommending such updates to the Board of County Commissioners. I'm going to open the tab L and staff presentation.
Perfect. Thank you, Madam Chair. No presentation, but let me walk through a couple items. As we know, our tourism development tax was established in 1988 by ordinance. It's evolved through some of the increases over the years. Most recently, there was a legislative change to the laws that allow us to now fund a portion of lifeguard services. As there have been discussions with our destination marketing organization, the CVB, and working through the Tourism Development Council, what we're really doing is taking the opportunity to look now at our ordinance, update some of the items, and truly allow flexibility for those tourism tax dollars in the future. The new buckets that would be set up would move them into marketing, arts and culture, leisure and recreation, and administration, and will really allow us to use that flexibility of the lifeguards and then other items as we move forward, just separating those dollars out. Again, this has worked through the Tourism Development Council and with our partners. We're all in agreement on this was a good refresh to have at this time as we continue to move forward with encouraging tourism through this county.
Thank you. I'm now going to call to the podium those who've completed a public comment card to speak on tab L. I have none. Board questions for staff or members of the audience? Close the public discussion for tab L, board deliberation if any, or I will entertain a motion to approve or deny tab L.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Martin.
I want to make a comment before I
Yes, sir.
make my motion. This is a big deal, not just for Nassau County, but for the city of Fernandina Beach. This, talk about lifeguards, you think, oh, how big of a deal is changing how you pay lifeguards? Well, it's like a $500,000 deal. And it freed up, correct me if I'm wrong, it freed up $300,000 for the city and $200,000 for the county that was coming out of ad valorem tax revenues. So that's a big deal. And the city is very appreciative of it, and I think it's good. So I just want to put that on the record before I made my motion on tab L. Consider updates to the, I don't need to read that again. Based on review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the ordinance 2026-019.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. Call the vote, please.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman?
Yes.
And Chair McCullough?
Yes.
It's 5 ayes, 0 nays.
Tab M, consider the following. Number one, approval of ordinances 2025-041, an amendment to the Chapter 1, Article X of the Nassau County Code of Ordinances to update the Economic Development Grant Program. And number two, approval of a resolution to establish the list of target industries and list of target development areas. I will open the floor for public discussion for tab M, staff presentation and discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a good evening for economic development in the county. Going off the presentation, working through one of the economic development grants, approving some of the contracts that we have in place through the consent items. What we have here is essentially an update to our economic development grant ordinance. So as this was previously in place, we've been working with the Economic Development Board, working with the developers in the community, and seeing how we can truly amend this to encourage and support more economic development from the non-residential side. So what we've done in this ordinance is we've really modified what used to be a single path of doing this and broke it up into different industries. And with that, what we've done is we've created a new category just for small businesses, so we can help support those small businesses in town. We've done an additional grant program for spec buildings. So as we talked about Portillo, they took the risk of building a spec building in the Wildlife Commerce Center. Now, that will bring businesses here faster. So having that grant program or that incentive for us will allow us to encourage us in more cases, bringing businesses into the community faster, create jobs, reduce traveling to jobs outside of the area. So that'll help do that. The other program is as we have these spec buildings, we need to make sure that those tenants get in there. And so allowing for a program that allows for that kind of tangible personal property, we can actually occupy those buildings too and make sure we close these deals. So as the Economic Development Board is working forward with their plans and their KPIs, we wanted to give them a couple more tools to make sure that we can be business friendly and really attract businesses to our community. The ordinance really sets up that. What it does in this packet as well is there is 2 resolutions. And so you've got the grant program set up, but to be eligible for those grant programs, you have to meet the target industry list. That target industry list will be adopted by resolution, but matches essentially what was there previously. And then you've got the target development areas. And these target development areas in the resolution lay it out by really kind of the timber to tides area that we've been looking at, the ENCPA, and then focuses on that new vision plan with those future employment centers. And so we can focus those grants and we can focus them towards the areas that we really want to see businesses, non-residential construction going forward in those areas to create jobs. So with that, I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. I'm going to call to the podium those who have completed a public comment card. Seeing as I have none, board questions or for the staff? I'm going to close the floor to public discussion, board deliberation, if any, or I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny tab M.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Gray.
Yep. I'm going to make a motion to approve that those 4 target development areas, Briceville, Crawford Diamond, Yulee 17 and 200 employment centers around here in Yulee. I think I love how it was written. Kudos to staff, Mr. Ironman. Really appreciate you doing a fine job on this, and I think it's well needed in Nassau County. I believe it's going to provide some dividends as we move forward. So with that, based on review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve ordinance 2025-041 and the resolution to establish the list of target industries and development areas.
Nope, Mr. Hupman.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Hupman. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer?
Yes.
Commissioner Huffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Martin?
Yes.
Chair McCullough?
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you. Tab N, adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 18 and a quarter pertaining to the regulation of nuisance.
Yes, good evening. Gail Jornby, Deputy County Attorney. Once again, I'm before you. Recall, 2 weeks ago, I did bring this topic up before, and this is for our adoption hearing. These are amendments that we are requesting as staff to our 18 and a quarter, which is our nuisance code, very much utilized with our code enforcement department. And I do have Michael Pearson, our code enforcement manager, here as well for any questions. But a high-level review of this ordinance has not been updated since 2015, so it definitely needed some work. We have essentially trash, litter, and debris definitions, unserviceable vehicles, and the like. That's what we're looking to enforce through this code, and they're considered nuisances affecting public health. And if you dive deep into the ordinance, what we actually updated were definitions. We removed some definitions that were actually not used in the ordinance, and we also brought them up to state statute. State statute has a definition for litter, and we really compiled everything into there. So we're consolidating some of the definitions, so it's an easier enforcement for our officers. As well as you can tell, we have code in this section regarding abandoned refrigerators and ice boxes. That actually is also in state statute in Chapter 82307, and we are mirroring that language as well. So a lot of housekeeping after so many years of just not updating this ordinance. One significant change we did make was to the unserviceable vehicles. We are cutting that time down from 6 months to 30 days. That is basically a request from officers in the past because this becomes an enforcement issue where if we note a violation, if the complaint comes in, we go out, we see the property, then we would have to actually wait 6 months before we actually can evaluate they're in compliance. So we're reducing that time down from 6 months to 30 days, and that really will make it a much more enforceable a code from our perspective instead of having to wait that 6-month period. Once again, we're really clarifying trash, litter, and debris. We're kind of consolidating it using the definition from state statute. And then finally, we had procedures inserted, and it's been reviewed by the Sheriff's Office for coordination when the Sheriff's Office seeks our enforcement officers to come out at a property that they consider a nuisance. So it's essentially requiring them to contact the county manager or designee and then really work through the chain of command instead of just calling an individual code enforcement officer out to a problem property. And this is something we just saw in the past, and we would like to have that cooperation. And we did meet with the Sheriff's Office, and they have reviewed this language. So this is a high-level review. I can get into the details. I mean, there is a lot of statutory changes we made just to mirror what's in state law, but I didn't want to give you all that minutia unless you so requested. But if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. We also have, like I said, Michael is here as well.
I'm going to call to the podium those who have completed a public comment card to speak on tab N. Do I have any board questions for? Okay, at this point, I'm going to close the floor for public discussion. Do I have any board deliberation or a motion to approve or deny tab N?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Hutman.
based on the review of the applicable testimony and evidence provided, my motion is to approve the ordinance 2026-005.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Hutman, seconded by Commissioner Farmer. Madam Clerk, will you call the vote?
Commissioner Gray,
Yes.
Commissioner Martin,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Hutman,
Yes.
Commissioner Farmer,
Yes.
and Chair McCullough.
Yes.
5 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you. At this point, we're going to go to general public comment. Comments can be for item under the authority of the Board of County Commissioners. Your time limit is 3 minutes. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Jackie Osborne.
Good evening. My name is Jackie Osborne. Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, Post Office Box 16786, Fernandina Beach, blah, blah, blah. Thank you, Madam Chairman, for allowing me to address the group. It's been a long 2 months, and I know that y'all have missed me horribly, but I promise to get back more often and be here at least twice a month and hopefully 3 times a month. My fellow over here that always gives us our invocation has missed me too. He just won't know where I was. Our count, we have 65 dogs in the shelter. 73 of those dogs are in foster care. We have 7 cats in the shelter, and 13 are in foster care. Kitten season is over. Everybody is very excited about that. You walk into the cattery, and there's hardly anything in there. The cages and things are all clean, and the cats are all gone. The only thing that I want to remind people of is heartworms. If you have a dog, please make sure you take care of medicating that dog. the heartworms are spread by a mosquito. He bites the dog gets the heartworms. That's the only way it's transmitted, and cats can get it too. At any rate, thank you very much. Remember, spay and neuter your animal. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Jackie. Maybe the freeze will kill some of the mosquitoes. Miss Pam Buncombe.
Good evening. Pam McCorkle Buncombe, 5428 Price Street, Fernandina Beach. On January 21st, the headlines were, Florida CFO calls out Nassau County for excessive wasteful government spending, over $53 million. To say the least, that was alarming news for county taxpayers, creating questions that demand answers. It is understood that the county clerk's role as comptroller includes serving as county treasurer, auditor, recorder, and finance officer. Additionally, over the last 15 years, the county has used Purvis Gray and Company LLP, accounting firm, as their external auditors. Assuming the CFO's report is based on facts and is, in fact, accurate, one could have to ask, why wasn't this substantial overspending noted as material findings in previous internal or external audits? 15 years with the same firm is not the norm with government audits. The most common auditor rotation is a range of 3 to 5 years, and the less common range is 5 to 10 years. This principle is to protect independence, both real and perceived, preserve objectivity, fresh scrutiny, and avoid overly cozy relationships. I'm making this public request this evening as a former career accountant and internal auditor who served on Fulton County, Georgia Audit Committee as one of 3 citizen committee members appointed by a majority vote of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners. Citizen committee members were required to have expertise in the areas of accounting, auditing, internal controls, and local government operations, which I do have. I thought it was important to share my background with you so you will know that my requests this evening are coming from a place of experience, knowledge, training, and not conjecture. I am respectfully requesting that this board, 1, hold the county clerk's office to a higher standard with its audit and financial due diligence and reporting, and 2, seriously consider following external auditor rotation best practices for government institutions. 15 or more years with the same firm is unacceptable. These suggestions are simple but important steps to correcting what appears to be a serious challenge with financial oversight here in Nassau County. Thank you for this time.
Thank you. Miss Patricia Sam.
Patricia Psalm 95332, Bentgrass Court in Fernandina. Blaise Ingoglia is a charlatan, running around the state from county to county, claiming overspending and overtaxing. But like a certain defunct organization at the federal level that claimed waste, fraud, and abuse, he has offered no facts to support his assertions. Having said that, I do believe that Nassau County has a serious problem with property taxes. My one little street in Amelia National, in tax year 2023, had 24 lots with a developer paying taxes on land valued at $13,527. In 2024 tax year, those same lots, there were 10 of them that had been developed, were then valued at $165,000. And in 2025, those values were pushed to $200,000. It'll be interesting to see what they're worth in 2026. This does not include the assessed value of the homes on those individual lots. In 2023, the developer paid less than $1,500 per lot in taxes on 24 lots on the street, $36,000. In 2025, the developed lots, just the developed ones, which are 10, averaged $15,000 in property taxes for a total of $150,000. That does not include several homes, 5, that will see this year, 2026, $15,000 to $20,000 in tax bills come November. Here's my point. You cannot justify the massive increases in these assessments for land and homes, $13,000 to $165 to $200. Our roads, gutters, and sidewalks in our community are private. We pay for water, gas, and electricity. I urge the board to consider either reassessing seriously. I do not believe these lots are worth $200,000, but that's just my opinion. And I am not part of any group. I don't represent anyone. But certainly look at the millage rates for 2026 to be reduced substantially. I also strongly urge the county officials to demand records of this so-called audit. Palm Beach County Administrator Abruzzo has already done it. Perhaps you have. I do not believe for a second that he, Ingolia, has records which would support his claims. That's not to say I don't think there's opportunity for, adjustments, shall we say. However, he's going to be elected Florida CFO in November. And if the county administrators don't do something, this fraudster, and that's what he is, he's seeking a $140,000 very cushy job. And I think that there's something behind some of the things he's doing to assure that he does become our CFO. And I know I won't be very happy about it. But anyway, I thank you for listening to me, and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
Ma'am, I agree with some of what you said. I'm not gonna opine on the person you said it about, but you can kind of catch my drift. However, as far as the assessed value of a property goes, we don't have anything to do with that. That's the property appraiser. So if you have specifics on any of those properties, especially if you own any of them yourself, or you who owns them, that would like to question, or at least go to the property appraiser's office and find out how he comes up with those, his office comes up with those assessments. They have, you can talk to Kevin Lilly personally. He's our property appraiser, and he welcomes constituents to come in if they have questions about any assessment. And if you're not happy with what his answer is, we have a value adjustment board that you can go to, or whoever owns those properties can go to challenge those assessments. So we control the millage rate, but we don't control the assessment.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. I have no more speaker cards. County manager's business?
I have none this evening, thank you.
Madam Attorney?
I do have one item on the agenda as tab O. This is just a clarification motion that I need from you. You all did appoint Mr. Richard Hearn on January 12th, 2026 as your alternate canvassing board member. In the motion that I put out for you, it said for the fiscal year 25-26. And the supervisor of election needs that to be for the full election year, which will go back past October 1. So we need to clarify that you mean that for the entire election year of 2026. The next thing was his name, she could not find a Richard Hearn, so we have clarified that his name is John Richard Hearn. And so if you, the motion there is just to ask for you to reappoint Mr. John Richard Hearn to the canvassing board for the election year of 2026.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Martin?
I move to approve tab O.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Martin, seconded by Commissioner Hutman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you for that clarity.
And my personal thanks to Mr. John Richard Hearn.
John Richard, that was my fault. He had known Mr. Richard Hearn for years, and he was always Richard Hearn. It was a clerical issue on my part when I recommended him, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, County Commissioner's business, and I'm going to open up the floor as we get into County Commissioner items. And the very first thing I want to address to my fellow Board of County Commissioners, and that is, I would like your support, the support of the board, that we request our CFO, the FAFO, provide the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners with its detailed analysis and methodology used for the numbers in the press release to the public, so that in good faith, our taxpayers do have questions and we would like clarity, but I would need the support of 2 other commissioners in order to write that letter to send to the CFO.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I do believe that, are you talking about the letter that I believe County Manager Pope has already drafted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I support that.
I'd second that.
One, two, I mean, if you have nothing.
I'm in support.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Support that.
Mr. County Manager, you do have the support of the board to request those numbers from the CFO's office. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, for the general public, this letter is going to include more than just requesting numbers.
Would you like me to read the letter into the record, Mr. Martin, for clarity?
That would be just fine.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me just bring it. I mean, it is public record. The public is welcome to see. I will read it into the record. Dear CFO Angolia, on behalf of the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners, we appreciate your office's commitment to promoting fiscal accountability and transparency, values that the Board of County Commissioners share and remain firmly committed to upholding through efficient, effective, and fiscally conservative local governance. While we support the mission of the Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight, the methodology and conclusions presented at the press conference regarding Nassau County's budget and finances reflect an incomplete assessment of our local government operation. They do not accurately or fairly represent the county's strong financial controls. Accordingly, I respectfully request that the FAFO provide the Nassau County Board of County Commissioners with its detailed analysis and participate in a follow-up meeting with the county staff, our independently elected clerk of courts and controller, and the members of the BOCC to review the findings alongside the county's financial records and budgetary data. The BOCC is confident that a more detailed examination will demonstrate that Nassau County meets the fiscally conservative standards referenced at the January 21st, 2026 FAFO precedent and serves as a model of responsible fiscal stewardship. This cooperative and open dialogue will mutually benefit you as your office begins to evaluate small rural counties, particularly those transitioning to urban and suburban communities. We look forward to receiving the requested information and engaging in a constructive, transparent discussion regarding Nassau County's budgets and financials. Professional regards, Allison McCullough, Chair of the Board of County Commission. So that is the letter that we're requesting from the CFO. Thank
if
you
I-
for your support. I'm gonna, you want to add something else, or we want to go?
I just want to elaborate one
Yes,
more
sir.
on that. And this is we directed the county manager to respond to that press release, or that press conference with our own press release that has some of the details where we disagree with the CFO. So, and in that press release, we also said we were inviting him to come meet with us and do this the right way. I mean, because here's where I am on this. I think his numbers are wrong. I think his methodology is wrong. However, if we're wrong, then let's meet and talk about it and show us with data, show us so we can answer to our constituents where if we are wrong, prove it to us. I'll admit if we're wrong, but I don't think we are. And so we are basically, this letter is basically following up on our press release, which said what we were going to do, and that is to invite him to meet with us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. So at that point, I'm going to go ahead and open up for county commission business, if anyone has anything else on that.
Well, I got something.
Okay,
You want me to go?
come on, Jack, come
Well, on
on.
Thursday, January 26th, we had a notable accomplishment here in Nassau County. One of our largest corporate sponsors and employers here, Rayner Corporation, held a ceremony celebrating the planting of 1.5 billionth tree. That's a big number, 1.5 billion. It was planted, and I just wanted to do a big shout out to Rayner because they are a corporate partner here with the county. They do provide a lot of employment for our children and adults here, and for future generations. I hope they're around for a lot more, many more years. They excel in a renewable and sustainable resource for the future. So I thought that was a notable accomplishment, 1.5 billionth tree, and they're going to be merging with another company in the United States, and they'll become one of the largest forestry corporations in the world. And, you know, and we have their headquarters right here in Nassau County, you know, so that's a big shout out I wanted to give. Thank you, Commissioner Chapman, Madam Chair. Allow me to speak.
Mr. Hupman?
I had the occasion to go visit a lifelong friend in Maryland this weekend, and so I brushed up against Stormageddon, trying to get back, and I'm glad I was able to pull it off this morning and get back in time for the meeting. I look forward to getting some data so we can move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
Mr. Farmer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to say congratulations to our friend Paul Laurie and his recent trip across the ocean for what, the second time? Is that right? It's his second trip, right?
It's his third ocean, Mr. Farmer.
Third
Yes, sir.
ocean.
Third ocean
So,
crossing.
you know, I mean, what an accomplishment that is. I don't know if you guys looked at any of the video online, but it's pretty treacherous out there in a big boat, much less a rowboat. So that's pretty cool. They raised a bunch of money for, you know, was it K9 for Warriors?
For Warriors and Penny's Flight.
There you go. That's pretty cool. So, congratulations to him, man. Kudos to their team. What an inspiration they are to all of us. This Thursday morning, West Side Business Leaders Breakfast, Anchor Church over on my side of town. Mr. Charlie Gressman is going to be the guest speaker. So if you guys get an opportunity, come out and visit with us. It's always a good time and good fellowship and friends over there. And let's see. Oh, I got a letter November, December of 25. I actually put it on Facebook. I said, hey, I've got two different needs in the community. One is a water well project for a lady that doesn't have any family and she doesn't have any water. And we got to try to fix it. So I had several of the local well guys reach out to me and go, hey, you know, what's she need? I said, look, I don't know. One of the guys in particular has already been there several times. He says that she's got to have another well. He's hooked in with some guy he knows that drills wells. That guy's willing to donate a certain portion of his services if we'll just pay for the pipe. Anyway, it came down to $2,000 that I needed to raise. And within 24 hours, I had 8 residents that gave me $2,000. And I sent it all over to a well guy, and we got this lady a new well. And then on top of that, during that same time frame, a friend of mine, Casey Rollerson over here, that she's the ag teacher at Yulee High School, she sent me a message and said, hey, there's this little girl over here that she likes to show cows and participate with 4-H, but the other teammates are having to pick her up in her wheelchair and set her into the sand arena because they can't roll her in there. You know, a regular wheelchair just doesn't do well in that type of terrain. And I said, well, I mean, what can we do to, make her dream come true? They say, well, we found a 501 out in Alabama called the Outdoor Ability Foundation, and they basically will take and fund about 90% of a motorized track-style wheelchair for this little girl if you guys can come up with, say, 10%. So I had to raise $3,000, and again, within 24 hours, I had $3,000 like that. So I had 15 total residents that took care of both of those issues, like within 24 hours. And got a thank you card from the little girl, and I'll read it out loud. It says, Clint, we cannot thank you enough for helping with Emma getting her outdoor chair. This is a huge blessing. We appreciate your kindness, love, and blessings, Emma and Ashley. Folks, this is why we do what we do, And I'm gonna tell you, we are surrounded by some really, really good people. There's a whole lot more good in our community than there is bad. And with that, I gave a lot of thought to everything that happened last week. It was a little challenging week, I guess, to say the least. And I'll finish with this. Life and public service experience teach us how to differentiate duty from emotion. Duty is a moral or legal obligation, and emotion is defined as a natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. As political as this position can be at times, I remain focused on the good work performed by the many selfless individuals behind the brick and mortar of our local government. To that point, I thank each and every person who wear the badge of Nassau County. Your combined leadership, continuity, professionalism, and unwavering commitment to the citizens, regardless of political affiliation, social status, or personal convictions, do not go unnoticed. May God continue to bless our great county, the free state of Florida, and we'll continue to focus on the community and neighbors that we are elected and sworn to serve. I ask that you say a special daily prayer of protection and guidance over our first responders, military personnel, and most importantly, their families. Thank you for giving me this unique opportunity. It's truly a great honor, and I yield back my time, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Martin?
Well, how do I follow that? Good job. And kudos on raising the money for those two worthy causes. And I've said enough about the CFO and his press conference, so I don't have anything else, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Can I borrow a nickel?
Yes, Mr. Hutman.
I just-
Nickels, dimes, pennies, dollars, what you need?
I can't go without congratulating Paul and Don on crossing the ocean. That one slipped me. Mr. Farmer, thanks for bringing that back up. It really, not only did they do this one in just a joyous and bubbling style, it's the most painful, as you can imagine, it's the most painful and uncomfortable thing you could do to yourself that I'm aware of, just because I've done it. And I will shave my beard when the last boat gets across. So this is about half of the fleet. When the rest of the fleet safely makes it to the other side, I will restore my normal facial order here for the board. So that's why I have the beard, when the last roar finishes.
I thought it was just like a winter thing, like a coat. a
When
winter-
no one's left behind.
Okay.
All right, thank
And
you.
Madam Chair, if I could have my nickel back.
I mean, I gotta bring the coin back.
So, yeah, and for those of you that have not been following Paul and Dawn, this is a male, two people, a male and a female, just two of them. Not three or four or more most of the teams are, just two of them. And this is just the first leg, correct me if I'm wrong.
Correct.
The first leg was 3,000 miles, right?
3,000 nautical miles.
3,000 nautical miles. That's just the first leg. Now they're gonna relocate and go back across.
Well, they're going to row here to Fernandina, so they reach home. They're going to ship the boat up north to Nova Scotia, then they're going to row back across the Atlantic to England, to her hometown in Burnham-on-Crouch.
And they're not taking a long break in between.
Nope, they're going to be on the
So
road
it's,
shortly.
it's pretty amazing.
Yep,
That's all.
all for charity.
It's awesome. That is awesome. No more nickels or dimes?
Well, did you know there are only 266 Americans have ever rowed an ocean?
I guess
I
I'm
just
gonna
thought I'd
have,
throw that out there.
I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to row an ocean. Challenge accepted.
Oh,
I'll be paddling, listen, when we kayak, sometimes we'll put in it right there at the house and then either go up Kings Ferry, just depending on the tide. And y'all spend about 4 hours on the river and I'm done. Like, Alice will not be spending 40 days on the ocean. But yes, much appreciation for them. I think anytime there's that physical endurance, it's just a testament to their character. I am not going to entertain anything outside the press release. I thank the board's support as we clarify for the taxpayers. But one thing over the last couple of weeks that I have, that's really been brought to my attention as the chair is there seems to be a lot of misunderstanding about what role the Board of County Commissioners play. And, you know, I've been a public school teacher for 15 years, so it's constantly in my mind to try to help engage our residents about, you know, okay, who can they call when their property appraised? You know, I get calls all the time, their trim notices come out, my phone blows up. You valued my property at $1 million. And I said, Allison did not value your property at anything because that is a separate elected official. Mr. Kevin Lilly, he is your property appraiser. He was elected by the residents of Nassau County. He has Florida statute to follow. That is his role. A lot of times, people will call me and tell me that their taxes went up. And I have to remind them that there are two taxing authorities on their bill. We have the school board and the Board of County Commissioners. And that the residents voted to do a 1 mil tax increase through the school board, that the Board of County Commissioners continues to reduce the millage rate. Another one that is very confusing is state mandates, understanding that, you know, we have to build courthouses, we have to build jails. Those are things that are ad valorem. Public safety is where majority of the ad valorem dollar goes. More than 75% of every dollar that comes in goes right back out to public safety. And I think, you know, I always say the more you read, the more you know, but that is the truth. The more you know, the more able we're to have these conversations. All 5 of us, our number is out there, call us, you know, talk to us, but my ultimate goal is always to educate and inform. How can I help you better understand the role you play and the role that government really is here to serve you? I definitely do not do this for fun, for glory. It is literally to serve the residents, and I think that's fair of all 4 commissioners, you know, that their goal is to serve the residents of Nassau County. And with that, I'm going to end this evening's meeting. Thank you.
you.